You are tuned in to Kids in the Pit. Hey guys, it's Gabe from the Kids in the Pit podcast. Today I'm joined by Buddy Schaub from the legendary ska punk band Less Than Jake. So you were the first member of a ska band I've interviewed. Thanks so much for doing this. I saw you guys in Philly a few months ago, and you guys were so much fun, especially the toilet paper launcher and the dancing airman things on stage. So what instrument do you play in Less Than Jake?
I play the trombone.
That's cool. See one right
Yep, you can kind of see it in the picture over here.
Up there. Yeah.
That's not usually when someone asks, oh, you're in a band, what do you play? The answer isn't usually trombone. So
Yeah.
I'm also the guy that walks around the airport with my case, and people ask me all the time if I have a gun with me.
So I'm 11. Today's my birthday, and I started playing guitar when I was 10. How old were you when you started playing trombone?
Well, happy birthday,
Thank
though
you.
I already said it to you before we started this. But let's see. I had to actually look this up earlier. In 8th grade, you're around 13 years old, and that's when I started playing, because I switched in 7th grade. I played clarinet because my sister played that, and I thought it'd be easier to just kind of learn from her. And then over the summer, she decided that she didn't want me in her section anymore, I think is my reasoning. But she was like, maybe you should try playing something different. And I knew one other person that played trombone at the time. And so I was like, I guess I'll switch to that. So I switched to trombone on a whim. And luckily I did, because here I am. I don't think Less Than Jake was looking for any clarinet players when I joined.
Yeah. How many trombones do you have?
I actually have 6 trombones currently. That
cool.
number could change at any given time. But yeah, I have a lot. That's including the first one that I had when I was in school in marching band. But I had to convince my mom that it was okay to buy a trombone, because I was going to do something with it after high school. And here I am.
Are they expensive?
Well, there's a range of them. You can get like a cheap student model, which is what I had at the time, but you can spend a lot of money on a trombone for sure.
Huh.
I mean, you can spend thousands of dollars on them for sure.
Wow. So, how long has Less Than Jake been a band, and how long have you been in the band?
Well, oddly enough, we're actually celebrating our 30th year as a band right now this year. And I joined the band, I think it was 9 months after they started. So I've almost been in the band the full 30 years, but I missed the very beginning. I actually saw Less Than Jake before I was in the band in town. We were just like a local band at that point. And it was just the 3 of them. They didn't have any horns at the time. So it was just Roger, Chris, and Vinny at the time playing drums.
Nice. So my favorite Less Than Jake song is All My Best Friends Are Metalheads. And one of my best friends, Jack, is actually a metalhead. What is your favorite Less Than Jake song?
That's weird. That's like asking a parent to choose their children, like their favorite child.
Yeah.
But I have a go-to answer for this that I've been using for years, I guess, too, which is lots of records have come out after this. But I really like Last One Out of Liberty City is a great song. It has like enough intensity in it. I really like the lyrics, and it's got a good amount of horn stuff and non-horn stuff. So that's one of my favorites, but there are many. You could ask me on a different day and it would probably be a different answer.
Yeah. So who is Jake, and what does Less Than Jake mean?
Jake was actually our drummer, Vinny, our old drummer, Vinny's. He started the band with Chris when they were both in high school, and his parents had it. It was his parents' dog was named Jake, and it was this English bulldog that the parents would go out to like a steakhouse and bring home steak for the dog, but then Vinny would be eating macaroni and cheese in the corner. Like the dog had its own chair in the house. And one day they were practicing in the back room, and the dog got upset, so they had to stop. So they decided the name of their band that they hadn't actually started yet was going to be called Less Than Jake, because they were less than the dog.
It's funny. So what is your favorite place you've toured in, and what is the most obscure place you've toured in?
Yeah, that's funny that it is actually a 2-part answer for me, because I really like when we go to Australia, because it seems like we're going far away and it's still a foreign country. but everybody still speaks English, but then they speak their own little version of English because it's not just the accent, but people like talk a little different there too. They have funny ways of saying things and stuff. So it's super easy still because everyone speaks English, but then, you know, you also get like a sense of being somewhere foreign. But the first time we ever went to Japan was like the most mind-blowing thing on the planet for me, because just everything about it is different. Everyone there's Japanese. Well, at least when we first started going there, it's a lot more mixed now, but when we first started going there, like really everybody was Japanese. And everything is in Japanese and it's all colorful. It's like you're on another planet when you land in Tokyo and you're walking around. It's definitely a shockingly different place. All the food is crazy different, which was really shocking and weird at first, the first couple times we went there, but then we have like the same translator and promoter, so they take us out to dinner all the time after the show, and it's like a lot of fun. We get to eat experimental weird things like the cow's fourth stomach, which is basically like a little circle that looks like his butt.
Cows have 4 stomachs?
I think so, yes.
Didn't know that. You learn something new every day, I guess.
Right.
So, do you have any wild tour stories you'd like to share?
Well, trying to keep it PG for an 11-year-old. I thought of a good one earlier. So this is going back to like the 1999 Warped Tour. So let's see.
Wow.
You're 11 now. You were not alive for many years before this happened. But we were playing Lake Tahoe, and we told the crowd before we went up on stage. So we got up on stage, and there was this huge, big cardboard box on the stage with caution tape all around it. And so we get up there, and Chris tells everybody in the crowd that we got there, you know, the night before and decided to go camping up in the mountains because it's like right in the mountains on Lake Tahoe. So we decided to tell people we were camping up there. And while we were up there, we discovered an alien. So we captured him and we brought him back and we had him on stage for everyone. And so like halfway through like the third song, the box starts shaking and then it opens up and our friend who used to dance around on stage with us in different costumes jumped out in an ET mask, which is like an alien. I don't know if you ever saw the movie ET because you're 11.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, well, it's like, you know, he's like an alien weird head, and then he was butt naked and he just ran around with this alien head on and like got like on the barricade and was like jumping in the crowd. The crowd split wide open and he ran around in the pit for a while and then got back on stage. But it was
just like a car show.
Yeah, exactly. It was definitely a little ridiculous. We brought the stage to the crowd in a big way.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean you captured an alien?
Yeah, well, that's what we said we did, but it was basically our friend dressed up like an alien. But and then we had him in this box for the whole first 3 songs. So people out in the crowd were like, "What is going on? What is that box?" And so we kind of kept it a surprise, and then told people, you know, and then he escaped from the box.
So, besides Less Than Jake, what else do you do for a living?
I'm actually fortunate enough to be in a band that has managed to somehow make a living doing this. So this is my job.
Oh, Less Than Jake is?
Yeah, and in order to keep it that way, we are on the road all the time. That's why we've been a band and never stopped being a band that is on the road forever. That's awesome. Really, that's why the pandemic was a little rough for us, because that, you know, when we're not on the road, we don't really make that much money. And it was like 2 years.
You can't work from home if you're in a band.
Exactly. Well, we did do a couple of those live streams that people were doing, and we made a little bit of money off of that, but it definitely wasn't enough to, you know, perpetuate our lives. So some of us ended up on unemployment during that time for sure.
Huh.
But, you know, I am in 2 other side music projects, and one of them is called Coffee Project, as you can see by this mug. And I used to do video stuff for the band. I used to run our merch store for a while, which I actually did get paid for that for a little. Like I did that for free for a while, and then I started getting paid for it. But then I gave up on doing that. It became too much of a pain in the ass.
I actually have Less Than Jake shoes.
Yes, you got those off of our store.
Yep.
Yep.
Boom.
Those are super awesome. Those are super limited too. You got to be careful with those. You got to make sure you don't get them in the mud.
Yeah, and also it's gonna suck when I outgrow them.
Yeah, that is going to be a problem because you're a little young. Well, then you can just wrap them in saran wrap and put them up on a shelf somewhere.
Well, yeah.
They might be worth something someday. Maybe they'll be worth $1 more than they are now.
Well, wait, but the kids' shoes are probably not going to be as much because there's probably more adult fans.
Yeah, but someone might want them as a collector.
That's true.
And then it doesn't really matter what size they are.
Yeah. So what was your first concert and how old were you?
Let's see. I guess my first like real concert was 9 Inch Nails. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're still actually a band, but I saw them when they first came out, and it was in this little tiny like punk rock venue in Melbourne, Florida. And
Oh,
yeah, that was the first thing I think I saw that was like that. I mean, I'd probably been to some sort of like big music festival or something like that. That I don't know if I count that because it
oh.
wasn't something that I chose to go to and like bought my ticket and went to.
Mine was Bad Religion, and I was 9 in Orlando. So,
Nice. Yeah, you were definitely younger than me. I think I was in high school. I don't remember what grade it was, probably a junior in high school.
so like 14, 15.
Yeah, probably more like 16.
Oh,
But I mean, I'd seen music before that, but I don't think I'd been to like a show, you know. Yeah, Bad Religion's a pretty good first show. We've
yeah,
played with them a bunch.
nice. So, what are a few of your major musical influences?
Hmm. Wow, that goes a long way. I'm pretty eclectic in that too. I like all kinds of different music too. So if you're going with trombone influences, I really like this guy J.J. Johnson, who's like a 50s jazz musician. Him or Kai Winding is another good jazz trombonist. And then I really like the Beatles. If you want to
Yeah.
go back 60s style, like songwriting, that's one of my top of like songwriters. Then more of a contemporary band is a band called Superchunk that I really like a lot. They're on my all-time, like, you know, it's not like my favorite band ever, but like I always go back to them and always like it when I put it on. It's something I listened to in college, and they're still around and they still hold up for me. So because a lot of time music, you know, kind of goes in phases. You'll learn as you get older and older. Like you like a band really a lot for a little while, but then it might just fade away for a while and then you don't go back to it. But they have somehow stuck around for me. So
Also, in the background, like in the back behind you, like
yep.
what are all those?
Do you like the show The Simpsons? These are all Simpsons toys. It was all the first 10 series of those. And then I also have the little play sets on the wall over here, which I think all the batteries are dead in these, but if you push buttons on that, they all talk and stuff. And then I have more of it over here. I'm a little obsessed with The Simpsons. And this isn't even all of it. I actually have a lot more of that stuff that I ended up putting in bins downstairs because it was taking up too much space in my studio here.
That's awesome.
I think the only thing in this room that's not The Simpsons, actually, there's two things, is this. It's not even a real gold record. It's a bronze record we got from Fat Records for our Borders and Boundaries record. He kind of sent out all like bronze records to people instead of gold ones. And then I have my Less Than Jake snowboard over here too.
What? That's awesome. Wow. Okay, now for some non-music related questions. Where did you grow up, and do you still live there?
I grew up in Palm Bay, Florida, which is on the East Coast, kind of in the middle there. Let's see, what's it? It's near like Daytona Beach. It's a little north or south of that, if you know where that is, or it's actually pretty close to
I know
where.
where Daytona Beach is because so do you know Sick of It All?
We actually do. Yeah, we played a few shows with them.
Yeah, so I'm friends with the guitar player's daughter, and they actually live in Daytona Beach.
Oh yeah, she shot the toilet paper guns for us before.
Oh, she did? That's
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
So,
That's
what's
nice.
your favorite kind of food?
Oh wait, I want to tell you too, I don't still live in Palm Bay. I live in Gainesville, Florida still.
Oh,
I'm one of
nice.
the two guys in Gainesville that still live or one of the two people in Less Than Jake that still live in Gainesville. Roger is the
I
other
was
one.
just in Gainesville.
Oh yeah, you were here for the fest.
Yeah.
I was here too, and my band Coffee Project played it.
Oh, you guys
I don't
played
know
the
if you
fest?
saw it. Yep.
Nice. So, wait, what's the other member that lives in Gainesville?
Roger, the bass player.
So, what's your favorite kind of food?
I think pretty much all Mexican food. I feel like I might have been adopted and I was actually Mexican because anytime someone puts Mexican fruit in front of me, I will eat it. Even if it was the last meal I ate, I would probably eat it again. And
Nice.
Mexican food, pretty much it's all this. You can pick taco or burrito or whatever, but it's pretty much all the same thing. If you pretty much any Mexican food is just the same thing, just packaged in different things.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, what was your favorite movie as a kid?
I think the first movie that I went to that was PG-13 by myself was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which I liked a lot. But I think my favorite movie as a kid was Goonies. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
that movie is such a great movie, especially if you're like your age. That is like the perfect movie because you really want to be that kid that discovers the pirate ship, and just
yeah,
everything about that movie was awesome.
it was awesome. So if you could transform into any type of animal for one day, which one would you choose and why?
Wow, that's a pretty good question. I really like animals a lot too, so it's kind of hard to decide that. That could be a lot of different answers. I think I really like owls a lot,
Oh yeah,
and
they're cool.
they're kind of apex predators in their world. Like they're a pretty big bird, so there's not a lot of other birds that are going to eat them. They eat other
Yeah.
birds, so I wouldn't worry about getting eaten too much because you could always just fly away too. That's the best part about being a bird is you can fly, and they can spin their heads all the way around. So I like that.
Yeah. Like if someone was like behind you, could you just be like, "What
Yeah.
up?"
What's up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't sneak up on me.
So if you had a time machine, would you travel to the future or back to the past?
That's another really good question too. And I think when I was younger, I probably would have said I wanted to travel to the future, not only to see what was going to become of me, or just even further in the future to see where things went. But now I'm a little scared of the future. I'm kind of scared of where things are going. So maybe
Yeah.
I would probably go in the past because I watch a lot of I like history a lot now too. So I watch a lot of shows that are based in the past. Problem with that is that you don't want to go back too far because then you get to parts where there's like no toilet, or you
Yeah.
get cut and you get like pneumonia and die, or like you just get like infected. It was before antibiotics.
I
If I was just going to go back there for a little while, that would be fun to just go
yeah,
see what things are. And maybe I would go back to when Mozart was alive and go watch a concert.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So I would travel to the future because if you travel to the past, let's say you kick a rock in the wrong direction, the whole world's gonna change.
Yes. And you could not be in it. Like, so you could
Yeah.
change something that messes up the fact that you're not
You
even
just kick
there.
a
Yeah.
rock and you're just out.
Yep. That's called the butterfly effect.
Yep. So if you could tell your 10-year-old self anything at all, what would you tell him?
Um, I would tell him to just be yourself no matter what, follow your dreams, and don't let bullies or people that are, that try to stop you have any effect on you. You should
Yeah.
just like be confident in yourself and do the best that you can at following your dreams.
Yeah.
That's what I did, and I got lucky.
Mhm. So would you like to add anything before we wrap this up?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the best I got.
Nice. So thanks to Buddy for joining me today, and thanks to all of you for watching or listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Spotify and other streaming platforms. Until next week, bye.
All right. Thanks, Gabe. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.